Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Apparent Voice. Thank you for joining our Friday, June 5th show. Today, I have a great lineup of two wonderful parents, community members, community activists, and just mothers of the community who does some great work. But before I bring them on, I just wanted to acknowledge today that our world is going through a lot, right? In Michigan, we are about to open up Monday. And so, with that in mind, I really want to take this moment to just tell people to still be careful. Be careful with what you're doing. Be careful with going out there into the community. I know there are a lot of community activists and people like myself and these two wonderful guests that'll be on today who love working for community. Their love and their passion working for community has superseded some of the people that I've even seen who's doing a lot of talking. It superseded even the work that I've done. And they have been out there from day one working with families and for families. But I want us to stay mindful of two things. One is that just because we're opening up doesn't mean you don't take precautions for yourself. And for those who love doing for people, make sure you're taking care of yourself and make sure you still are protecting yourself as you're out there. Because I know there's a lot of us who's going to be anxious to get out there and start doing what we used to do. And so just reconsidering how you do it and making sure you still protect yourself. So without further ado, thank you again to the National Parent Union for sponsoring this show. I love you all. And I'd like to bring on Sharon and Safia. Yeah, so as they come on, Sharon and Safia, I've been knowing Sharon for years. I don't know how many years I've known Sharon, but Sharon, Safia, I just met maybe about 3, 4 years ago. But both of them from day one has been parent icons who have done some work for children and families. And I'll let them tell a little bit about what they've done. But the work really always blesses my heart to see that they advocate for children, not their own. But you know how you have these den mothers in the community that take care of everybody? They are always taking care of people. So welcome, Sharon. Welcome, Safia. That fierce, Safia has this fierce screensaver on, but Sharon, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. You're on mute.
My name is Sharon Kilgore. I operate Busy Bee here to help. Busy Bee here to help is 2015. It was to keep her name alive. Her name was Lizzie, active in the community and with her church, Baptist Church. She was a member for over 30 years, servicing the community. And it's just to remind people that we are here for them. I just want to keep doing the work. I love doing this work. Let me tell you about me loving doing the work. You know how you love something so much you even do it like today on your day off? I'm still doing this work no matter what. I sleep it, I eat it, I breathe it. I am one of those people who is hard to practice self-care while doing it. I have to use my daughter to keep me safe. She makes sure wear your mask, wear your gloves, 6 feet distance when I'm working with a volunteer team. She's my greatest support system.
Yeah.
Let me see, what else can I tell you? My passion is right now, I'm servicing seniors. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, Bernita.
I was just about to
Right
ask
now
you
I'm
what you were
servicing.
doing, and you were about to say that. Go ahead. That's good.
Okay, so right now I'm servicing senior citizens by providing household supplies and fruit and vegetables, doing door drop-offs, to keep them inbound if I can, so they can stay safe. Because as we was going through COVID-19, and they were higher at risk. And if I can help save a life by providing food to their door, then that's what I choose to do. Um, so it's just out serving the community. Today, I was able to give away over 100 boxes of fruit and vegetables with my volunteer team, who was a great help over at Joy Missionary Baptist Church. Tomorrow, I will be out in the 48206 neighborhood providing cleaning supplies to senior citizens over there, which is where I grew up. Lived there for over 30
Sharon,
years. Dexter
I
and
think you're freezing
Jerome.
up just a little.
I just
Sharon,
always want to give back because it was like I used to be. Yeah.
you're freezing up a little bit. Can you do me a favor? Can you move your phone just a little bit? Move the device that you're on
Yeah.
and see if it can get stiller in maybe a
Okay.
different place and see if it'll catch you. Yeah,
Okay. Hold on.
so Safia, are you there? Blonde and blue.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Awesome,
So tell us,
awesome.
while Sharon's situating her phone, tell us a little bit about what you do and what this blonde and blue girl does.
So my name is Safia, and I ask everyone to call me Miss Blue because my hair typically is blonde and blue. I've been this way for pushing 7 years now, so calling me Miss Blue is perfectly fine. As you stated, I am a mother. I'm a mother of two, and I love working with the kids, and I love working with families. So I do work for a nonprofit, and they're awesome. We've been on the ground since everything happened and before. So we've been doing distribution of food and activity packs and things like that. I've talked to my neighbors to see the resources that they need. And so I kind of share that information. Blonde and Blue Girl, I share information for parents for the most part anyway, about ways to, one, take care of themselves, things for their children. I do Black History facts, just making sure everyone gets the word out. For the most part, everything on my page is children friendly. So it's for the whole family. I'm all about family, from whether it's actual blood or just like your neighbor who's a great person who you feel like that neighbor is your grandmother. Because maybe the relationship you have with your actual grandmother isn't great, but you have this other person in the neighborhood who literally is that person for you. It kind of goes back to the village, and that's part of who you are too. That's why I got so close to you, because I'm young, but I'm not that old either. I'm not that young, and I'm not that old. I'm kind of in the middle, I feel like. And if we can do for our neighbors just as well as we can do for ourselves, it takes it all the way back to community, and it all should come down to community at the end of the day.
Yeah. And can you put your camera on for me?
I still can't touch my screen yet.
Okay, yeah. But so when you think about it, we talked about the village, right?
Yes.
When we met, you were what some would be like, you were a parent participating in programming, and you had all these visions and all these goals. You were already reaching out to people, right? But understanding the magnitude of how to reach out to people and what your impact was, has that changed? How has that changed over the last like 2 years?
I think my impact is still there. I think it's grown more to the older community members. The nonprofit I work for is a certain age range, and those children grow. And I don't want to like negate children because they've grown older than what the program does. So I still work with those kids. I had a goal of trying to start a program for that gap age group, because there are a lot of programs that help children up to age 8, but there aren't a lot of free programs for older than that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of doing that without having an organization on that behalf. So a good number of the parents and children, they reach out to me personally. I had someone call me super early this morning because the child was going through something, and I said, okay, well, I'm awake now. Let's talk it out. Let's do some breathing. Let's see how we can help you feel more comfortable and preferably go back to sleep until at least 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So I still feel like I am a good help to the community and that my impact is still there. But I feel like in some ways it's changed a
Yeah.
little bit while still
When
being in
you
the same way.
okay. So when you when you first started doing this, what inspired you? So I know a little bit about your story, right? But what inspired something,
Um,
you know, go
you
ahead.
said what inspired me and what? I'm sorry.
I said most of our work is inspired by something in our own lives, right? Like what hurts me, I just about know gonna hurt somebody else or is hurting somebody else. So what inspired you to do the work that you're doing?
Well, my mother was the ultimate mom who was always at the school every day, all day, and I hated it initially as a child. But the days that she wasn't there, I'm like, wait, I miss my mom being there. My mother was a bonus mom, grandma, auntie, cousin, what you name it, family member. My mother was that to people,
Mm-hmm.
especially a lot of children. And as I got older, I really saw the impact that had on people and even my friends. Like my mother counseled some of my friends, and I didn't even know about it.
Wow.
And having my mother be that person, um, it made me also want to do that too, just because in turns, like I saw her mentoring some of her friends, and I'm like, oh, I can do that. And I've done that with my friends. So
Yeah.
to have the ability to give back in the same way that my mother did, and more on I understand the things that's going on currently, would be great. And now that my mother is no longer on the land of the living, I feel like the best thing I can do to help her legacy as well as my own legacy is be that foot
Yeah.
in the community that, like, not everybody has a mom, or they had to have a mom to be on this planet, but they don't have that mother figure,
Yeah. That
that
mother
person who
figure. Yeah.
actually nurtures and cares for them. Well, that's fine, I'll be that. Some of the shit, like I taught in early Head Start, those kids sometimes call me mom, and I'm like, okay, can you just add Miss Blue to it so that your mother doesn't lose her mind when she comes to pick you up.
Right. Right.
I've
Right.
been the big sister to people. I've been the little sister to people who, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that no one feels alone.
Mm.
And in making sure that no one feels alone, sometimes it is, taking a scarf off your head to give to somebody who's cold, or just saying, oh, did you know that you can get some fruits and vegetables from here or there, or just
Mm-hmm.
bringing them something, making that extra phone call, that, just being there,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
being there.
Yeah. I mean, I like that, like the connection that all three of us kind of have is the fact that we do this because we had these phenomenal moms, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that legacy is living on through them, but just thinking that it's gonna live on through our children also. So Sharon, I know you talked a lot about your mom. It was a little spotty. We couldn't hear that good, but you were talking about your mom. Tell us a little bit more about Busy Bee and your mom's work.
Busy Bee came just to once again just to keep her memory alive. Doing some of the things that she was doing in the community, serving like her church, the community area. And I remember at her funeral, the pastor talked about how he didn't want anybody else doing certain things for him, but Lizzie
Mhm.
B. Branch, my mom. And it was like,
Mhm.
wow, I want to be like that. I love serving the community, but I want to be great at it. So I just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And just thanking God for the opportunity to do it. I feel like I'm being the hands and the feet for God, and serving his people. So it's just being a follower of my mom. And Bernita, you also has been a great influencer, you know, partnering like co-conspiracy partners, and just doing the work and getting it done, servicing the people by any means necessary is what I believe in, and without being an enabler. So I believe like this thing about I do, we do, and you do, you know, I'll do it for you the first time, then we'll do it together, and then you will do it yourself. And next thing you know, you'll go out and be an advocate for a parent advocate, or just be doing a great model for other people, and it'll go on and on and on, and that's what's gonna make the world better.
Yeah, and that's that model that we want to keep up, right? Because somebody saw something in me and was like, you know, oh, you do this well, you should come do this with families. But if we're just the only ones always doing it, like you said, and never bringing them along for the journey, then they don't understand their own power. So talk a little bit about that, some of the parents that you have that volunteer with you or work alongside you, and where like maybe not names, but where you met them like 2 years ago, but where they are now.
And so some of that is like with people, with anybody. One of the things I truly believe, and I tell people, everything you need, you already have. It's already within you. And just showing you how to bring it out, you know, looking at your strengths. I don't care if you come somewhere and you just low and this and that, whatever. The strength is that you showed up, you know, and just showing people their strengths and letting them elevate from there. And just meet people where they at and appreciating them and showing them love. And I'm talking about authentic love, like real love, not that fake love, you know, and let them know that I care about you if don't nobody else care about you, but you also got to love yourself, you know. And that comes from me growing up. Sometimes I didn't always feel that. I grew up with low self-esteem, and I don't want anybody to ever have that. Or you could be in a room full of people and still be alone. I don't want people to feel like that. So my biggest strength is always trying to include people and let them know, like, you're a part of the puzzle. You make the world go around. We need you. And by coming out and doing the work, I hope people do feel that from me, because that's what I have to offer them.
Yeah. And with this village, you know, that we talking about, you know, Safia brought up the village model is that there's not a lot of people gonna come from the outside and save us, right? It reminds me of the old-fashioned days when there was a depression. The people in the community looked out for one another. Like y'all are doing this all day long, Sharon. You are sending out text messages. Come get this food. I got diapers. I got this. I got, like, how are you getting this done? Like, I mean, it blows my mind, some of the resources you have. And you call and say something to me and say, I want to do such and such. Then a couple of days later, you're doing it. So how are you getting this done? Like, for somebody else who don't think it's possible, like, oh, my impact ain't that big.
You know what? My greatest thoughts come at night. So what I learned to do is when something comes to mind, even if it's nighttime, jot it down so you don't forget it. And just figure out how to make it come to pass and trust the process. That's my biggest thing. And that's what I tell my parents. Trust the process. Don't be afraid, you know, and sometimes you do be afraid, but just trust the process. Trust that God got you. I remember in 2006 when I felt so like low. And if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have made it. And it was him. And I want people to know that you can make it through anything, to anything. Because it wasn't nobody that got me through like my worstest year that I ever had in my whole entire life.
Wow, that is so awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I dang, wow. So I think back on the days that, like, y'all have come together with me as sisters when we done sat in rooms together and just had like conversations, right? Because even though we're doing for everybody, we still need those moments that we come together and love on one another. And we ain't had one of those in a long time now because of COVID, right? You know, we keep waving at one another through windows and all this kind of stuff. But Safia, talk a little bit about how we're loving on one another as sisters, or as, I shouldn't just say sisters because there's some brothers out there doing it, but today it's a sister show. So as sisters.
that's actually the hardest part about being in the community right now is I'm used to those hugs. Like, the young lady I work with, she's not a hugger. And we were together the other day because we were passing out food, and we both had to like pause because we both wanted to come in and hug. And I think that's a cultural thing also, that like, you know, we love on each other. It's part of being a family. Um, I don't know, like I it just really shows the care and the concern you have when you can see somebody and you can hug them, or you can just reach out and grab their hand if nothing else.
Wow, wow, yeah, yeah. Because I remember the day I was downtown at the Wright Museum or wherever, right? I'm down there meeting up with family or something. I hear somebody, Bernita! And then, I mean, I turned around to this hug, like she literally jumped in my arm like a 2-year-old. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Like, who just hugs me this tight, right? But it's just
Because it's
wonderful to
love.
show up for one another like that.
It's
You know?
love. It's embrace. It makes you feel whole even when you don't feel whole. And sometimes it's not about like, do I feel good? It's sometimes you just feel the energy from somebody else and they need it. And that hug sometimes is it. It gives them the space to feel okay with not being okay, to attempt to be okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
during that time you had just lost your mom, right? I had been out of town for a while. You had just lost your mom. And I like to go to a different level of doing this work, doing it in the midst of hurting, right? And a lot of the meetings that we've had as our sister groups, one of my questions is, how do we do this work while we're yet hurting ourselves? We are hurting, we're suffering. Like, how are you doing that? I know mine was, I had to work through the pain of
Woo.
losing my mom. But how are y'all doing that?
I'm gonna let Sharon take this first.
Okay.
So Benita, for me, oh, so for me, it's not a morning that goes by personally that I do not shed a tear for my mom when I wake up of just missing her. It's like you shed your tears and you leave them where they at when you head out the door to do the work. I wake up early morning every morning because I say early bird catches the worm. And then I get up and go do the work.
Wow. Wow.
And that's it.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
That's it. And sometimes I do a journal. If the reflection is too heavy for me, I'll write it out. One of my things was to write a book about, yeah.
Okay, Sathya, what about you?
Every day, every moment is a bit different. That's something that I had to acknowledge. And every day I think about her. Like, I talk to her, like right after I got done talking to God. Like, okay, God, all right, I'm about to start my day. And then the next thing I was on the phone. So that was the hardest part. When I go out in the community, I try to give the same love that she would give. Sometimes I think it's a little bit stronger. Hence, that hug I gave you was intense. It was, because in all honesty, like, I really feel like you are part of my DNA family. At least according to like how my mom is and everything. So it's hard not having her, but I know she's with me. Sometimes I'll smell her fragrance. I have her truck, so of course, like, I cleaned the crap out of this truck, okay, and I still smell her in the truck. So it's just walking in love with her every day, every moment. And one of the best things for me was actually trying to find therapy, and I I am in a grief group that
Mhm.
meets every other Tuesday, and that was extremely helpful because we did this one project where we did this heart out of clay, and it was um, to say the marks that the person that you love left on your heart, be it good, be it bad, or whatever. I'll take a picture and I'll post it. I think I might have already, but I'll post it again so you can
Mhm.
see it. But it's about like finding ways to remember her and
Mm.
honor her legacy more than just me, more than just my kids. She did everything. Like she was the best mom, auntie, cousin, sister I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
anybody could have. She was my
You got muted some kind of way, Sophia.
call was coming in. She was a primary caregiver for my children, so like that's the only person they knew. And that was also our counselor. Like that's the hard part. She was our counselor for quite a few things that we were going through.
Mm.
So it's just
Wow.
honoring her.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about my mother, and I just wanted to. I think bringing both of y'all together for this show is just like so. Like y'all journey is like a little bit like mine. You know that mom impact, and just the thing of doing the work for the legacy of. I want to make my mama proud. You know, I heard somebody say something on a call, our National Parent Union call yesterday, and they said they just want to make God smile.
Mm.
And I think making God
Yes.
smile is doing what my mom would have done, right?
Yes.
Doing it a little different from how my mom did it because I watched my mom wear herself out, right? Like our moms wore themselves out doing. So that leads to my next question. What are we doing for self-care? What are you guys doing for self-care? Are you showing yourself grace right now? Because somebody told me 2 years ago on a documentary that you will never be Atlas, like you, Adonis. You cannot hold the world on your shoulders. You will die trying, right? You will die trying. So you can't save the whole world. So with
Mm-hmm.
that, what are you doing for self-care that involves nobody else? Not therapy or anything, just self-care.
Mm. So if I was
Um,
practicing self-care today, I would say about 6 o'clock, be home in my recliner and sitting
Mm,
in it and rocking, listening to me some music, and just rocking and meditating and looking out my door or sitting on my porch looking at my flowers and nobody bothers me. That would be a self-care for me.
okay.
um, for me, I always liked art. So I'm actually working on a new piece. It's it's self care, but it's a little tiring at the same time.
Mhm.
Because I'm very detail oriented about certain things with art. Um, and so like while I'm doing it, like I'll hear my mom say, "Okay, you're done in that spot. Relax, breathe."
Mm.
um, but even just sitting,
You went on mute again for some reason.
just sitting and listening to music, that helps. So just a unwinding time. I took my son kayaking last week, and I know that you said on our own, what do we do? But he had a moment where he was trying to skip rocks, and me just watching the rocks go across the water actually was more relaxing than the whole trip of like getting from the house, getting to the lake, getting the kayak blown up and all of like that was an extremely peaceful moment in itself for me. And to me that watching the rock skip was it. That was
Okay.
my self-care moment.
Well, I just want to say to both of y'all, I think we got a question. It's hard. So Miss Juanita, both of y'all know Miss Juanita. She said it's harder when your mom is, oh wow, it's harder when her mom was taken tragically. but really hard on birthdays and holidays. But she tries to remember the good times. That's what she does to help deal. Um, and then Nika said both of y'all are the best. So she
Oh,
sent
I
you a
love
shout out,
her.
Nika.
Yeah.
And then Janetta said hello. And Ozzy, oh, somebody else said that they were losing the voice. That was before when the voices were messed up. So so yeah, I just wanted to come on and just love on y'all today. I know normally we would have had our sister social and we would have did our yes, hug to y'all, hug. We usually, for everybody who don't know what a sister social is, my best friend Nika started this. She brought some friends
Yeah.
together a while ago,
I'm
and she made us come to a restaurant, and she was like, just sit down, like no technology, no talking about work, no nothing. And all she just loved on us. She just loved on us. And so I kind of piggybacked off of her, and I started inviting people into my home, and I would host these probably about once a year. And the Sister Social became a gathering of women who did not know one another but had impacted our lives in some way. And so I started with my group of friends who had impacted my life, and they came together. Some of them didn't even know one another. And we had just like 3 rules. You had to have fun when you came. If you came with somebody, you could not just stay with that person because the purpose was to meet new women and to create a network from other people's network. And then the third thing was I guess 4 rules. No technology and no men were allowed. No men and children, right? And so technology out the door. There was no posting on Facebook and stuff. You had to enjoy yourself and relax. And the way I had my home set up, the very first one, we had 3 different areas. We had a craft room, we had a game room, adult game room, not no naughty adult, but adult game room. And then we had a socializing room where everybody just came and everybody had to go in all those spaces and just enjoy one another. And so I'm looking forward to the day that we can do that again. We're going to have to brainstorm and do it in a park or something, do it openly together soon, because it's been 3 months we've been in these houses doing all of this. So I really want us to be able to come together and just love on one another. And this was my only way to think of loving on y'all too, because y'all been the most active people from my circle that I see out there, the most active, and I love y'all for it. And I'll tell you, take care. Anything you got. So wait, how can people get in touch with you guys? So I see Blonde and Blue has her email address there. So she does all kind of stuff, y'all. They shortchanging themselves some, because Blonde and Blue does modeling. She does weightlifting. Y'all see that work equipment back there? She probably down there now with somebody doing some type of training class or something doing her. That's why she got that mask on. But and you see Sharon was out there in her car. You see those big boxes back there. She's delivering food right now as we speak. So how can they get in touch with you, Blonde and Blue? Her email is there, but any other ways?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and it's just Blonde and Blue Girl. If you search the hashtag Blonde and Blue Girl or the hashtag Miss Blue, is typically me. I am an African American woman, so that helps you know that it's me as
Okay,
well.
thank you, thank you. And then Sharon, okay, forgive me. Then Sharon, Busy Bee here to help is hers. She's freezing up a little bit. But if you go to Busy Bee, show them your mask, Sharon. If you go to Busy Bee here to help, you will find her. And you can go to Busy Bee here to help at gmail.com also if you'd like to. But look on my page and you'll find them also. So ladies, I just want to tell you hugs and kisses to there go her mask. Be here to help. And if you know of any senior citizens that need in the city of Detroit, Metro Detroit area, and I'll do this shout out for you. If you know of any senior citizens that need food, cleaning supplies, fresh fruit, things like that, Sharon delivers those things. But out of respect to her, I would ask people if you can donate to her. So she receives monetary donations. She never hardly ever asks for them. She asks within her circle, and she does so much out of her own pocket. Like there's times when Sharon's whole check is going to providing for the community, and she does not complain about it. And she won't say that on this live stream. But if you like to donate, please donate to Busy Bee, here to help. And I'll share a Cash App later, or you can find her page and inbox her, ask her how to donate, no matter where you are, even if it's $5 or $10. You got to see the care packages that she give out to people. They are beautiful care packages. She has cleaning products, food, fruits and vegetables, and everything. So with that being said, we have come to a close of the show. I love you guys. Thank you again. Keep up the wonderful, blessed work that you're doing. And this has been the Apparent Voice. Please remember to tune in later on to Marisol's show tonight at 9 o'clock. And please share this video, share any other videos that you see on National Parent Union. Join the National Parents Union. And we'll see you on the road next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Sasha, I think we're.
I'm so thankful for you, Bernita.
Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. I think we're still live some kind of way, but I'm gonna go ahead. We could go ahead and log off, ladies. I don't know. Sasha may be having technical difficulties on the other end.
Okay.
So I'll see you guys later.
Okie dokie. Bye.